To learn the good, the bad, and the reality of the off-grid lifestyle, click subscribe so you don't miss anything. Hit the bell notification. So it's been a week since we started our new off-grid lifestyle on our off-grid property. Our property is 1.5 acres. Now there's a lot of trash on it, and I'm going to go through all that we got to clean up. But yesterday, I decided to go ahead and go for a walk. Remember, I sprained my ankle, and then the next day I sprained it again. And so it's been really difficult to walk around. But yesterday I felt pretty good. And so I decided to walk the back half to get a sense of my newfound freedom. When we came out and looked at it, there was snow on the ground, so I really didn't get it to see anything. And so the first thing I got to see was my creek. I mean, it's mine. And I don't know if that means anything. But when I was growing up, you know, Grandma had a creek, and that was Grandma's creek. I played in it all the time, but it was Grandma's creek. Well, that one's my creek. I have woods, and I have lots of down limbs, just tons of down limbs that I can use for firewood. Now, we're going to live in a tiny house that's going to be, what, 12 by 18? It's just less than 200 square feet. One or two of these down limbs here would last us nearly all winter, I would think. And there's several dead trees, so, you know, there's a lot of things here that are going to be great for resources, you know, to live off-grid. Now, I'll show you where we're at here. There's camper and the solar panels, and then behind me is nothing but woods. And in between us is the creek. And so I was just kind of walking back here. Now, it's not that wide. I mean, it's 1.5 acres. It's nice. It's not a lot to have to maintain. But on the other hand, there's not much around. Of course, we got a neighbor, but he seems to be pretty nice. He came over and introduced himself. He has left us completely alone except that one time. And his big concern was the boundaries, the property line. Not that he was concerned that we were going to intrude on his property line or anything. I think he was more concerned that we were going to come out and get surveyors. You got to realize down here in southwest Missouri, people want to be left alone. It's kind of a old school mentality. Just leave me alone, I'll leave you alone, and we'll get along just fine. Well, that's exactly what that was. He didn't want to be bothered with surveyors or anything. He wanted to make sure that I stepped off the property, which I had. We know the boundary markers. And the whole thing's done in fence. And as long as we all can get along, I mean, I'm not trying to make a profit on this. I know everybody's gonna say, oh, you need a survey, you need a survey. I'll need a survey the day someone tells me we have an issue. But I don't intend to ever get too close to the property lines or anything. And if something happens, then we'll just work with the neighbors. There's no reason to be in conflict with these guys. They can get kind of territorial, I guess is the best word to use for it. So there's no reason to ruffle any feathers. Now, like I showed you in previous videos, that side of the creek has a lot of trash in it. And so on this side of the creek, the only trash I could find was one tire rim. Who knows how old that is? And so here's the fence line right here. What's interesting, I like how they did this. You know, every other post, one's wood, one's metal, wood, metal, and it just goes on around. And I was standing here and I was just looking at my property and I thought, wow, this is mine. I don't know, there was just a sense of ownership. I've owned property before, but it was in the city. It was a village, but it had 100 people in it, and it was tightly packed with houses. But this gives me the sense of country. You know, my grandma owned 25 acres, and then later my dad bought 25 acres, and I was always out there, but it wasn't mine. I could use it any way I wanted, like it was mine, but here, this just felt like it was mine. So for the last week, as I've documented, we've gotten a lot done, and we are completely, in my opinion, we can call ourselves completely off-grid now, living in our camper. We got here late the first day. It was like 3 o'clock. And then on the second day, we installed the well. The well seemed to me like it was the most important thing that we had to get done. We poured bleach in it, meaning we shocked the well, and we let that sit overnight. The next day, we discovered that our pump can pump out 33 gallons per minute. You know, you read the advertisement, you don't really conceptualize what that means. It means it was producing a bucket of water every 11 seconds, which meant that it would empty the well. So I looked up online how I could stop from doing that without having to buy a pressurized tank. So what I did is I downsized it, the inch hose, the inch tubing, down to a garden hose size. So I just reduced it down, and then I put a garden hose valve on it. Then I can throttle the speed of the water that comes out. Worked great. The next day, took the camper off the truck, and that took a lot longer than I expected. I figured I could just jack the camper up and lower it down. And it didn't go as smoothly as I wanted, so that was an all-day process. Now, in the middle of all this, I have sprained my ankle twice. I think I've told you that already. That has really complicated things, trying to get things done, because I'm just limping around. I barely can move. But then I twisted it the second day. Oh, it was black and blue. It's still swollen. I know I need to get off of it, but I can't. I got to keep working. So then the next day, we just did a little detail work. We had to level up the camper better. We got the shower installed inside the camper, which was a big deal. One of the worst things about the nomadic lifestyle was not having a shower permanently installed. I mean, Carolyn and I would have to schedule our showers. Okay, what day you want to take a shower? You want to do it in the morning or the evening? Do we have to go shopping? Is it raining? Is it cold? Well, now we can literally just take a shower anytime we want. We also have a water source now that's more than 5 gallons, which I'll get to in a minute. And then the next day, we got all our solar panels hooked up. Now we have 2 deep cell batteries hooked up to our inverter. And that gets us through all day. We have been running on solar panels. I have not had to start the generator one time in the last 3 days. Now it's rained, it's been cloudy. I mean, yesterday it rained half the day. It was cloudy until about, I don't know, 2 o'clock. And then the sun came out, panels charged the batteries right back up. I mean, it is working flawlessly. We have 800 watts of solar panels, and I really am impressed how well it's doing so far. And the thing is I'm not even getting full sun, because in the morning, I got all these trees blocking the sun. So there they are. So now I'm getting afternoon sun. Within an hour, the batteries are charged. So this is doing great. The solar panels can run all my power tools except my handsaw. Then we got the IBC tank. The same day we bought the new battery. And then the very next day, we hooked up the RV pump to it. And so now, like I was saying, we have basically an endless supply of water. I take the well and I fill the IBC tank. Now, I do have to run the generator to fill that because the generator starts the well. My inverter isn't big enough to power the well yet, so I'm going to have to buy a bigger inverter. And then I can use the solar panels and the inverter to fill the well, and then I won't even need a generator for the well. So the only time I'm going to need the generator is to maintain my battery. So, you know, once a week or twice a week, I might run it just so I can get a slow trickle charge on the batteries. And if it has an extended cloudiness, I might have to run the generator in the evening. Cloudy days, I got enough solar panels for cloudy days to run all our power needs for the day, but it doesn't charge the batteries. So like a sunny day like this, I have all the power need I want, and it charges the batteries. But on cloudy days, I just get enough to power our computers and refrigerator. So then we spent the day cleaning things up. So as I've said many times in other videos, this is the part that's going to be the most work, is getting this mess cleaned up. Now we're going to build our tiny house on this. We're only going to go about 18 feet by 12 feet wide. Well, today we got started cleaning things up. We found a burn barrel, so we didn't have to go buy a burn barrel, which would have been another 20 bucks. No reason to spend money when you already got it laying around their property. We're going to do as much as recycling and reusing as we possibly can. Today I took the saw, the hand saw, and I just started cutting up little wood so we can throw it in the burn barrel. So we got quite a bit done today. Although it doesn't seem like it, we did get a lot done. The other thing is I did was I had forgotten my chainsaw at Mom's house. And it's so frustrating because like this tree right here, I need to get cut down. I would be concerned that that tree is going to fall into the power lines. But today I was able to use my saw to cut down little twigs, and I was able to clean up some area where we have some places to walk. You know, right here, this is our driveway, and it was basically covered in wood that we had to get cleaned up. And then I'm going to buy a push mower. I'm not going to buy a riding mower. I'm going to buy a push mower. That way, if I tear it up, I'm not tearing up a huge expensive machine. I'm just tearing up a little, you know, $150 push mower, and I'm going to start knocking all these weeds down with the push mower. So we're making progress. Only a week into it, and I feel like we're pretty established. Thanks for watching.